Jimmy Spoon and the Pony Express by Kristina Gregory, 18, an old friend. As the snow began to melt, wagons with families resumed their westward journeys. When Jimmy's bunk was needed for elderly or ill travelers, he and Penn slept outdoors. Near the corral, they made a wide bed of hay 3 feet high. There they slept, burrowed down out of the wind, wrapped in wool blankets, stars overhead. Early one morning, when the eastern sky began to pale, Jimmy woke suddenly. For a moment he lay there, frightened, his heart racing. He listened. Penn slept next to him. A light shone, ruffling from his open mouth. A light snore, ruffling from his open mouth. Slowly, Jimmy started to sit up, but as he did, something held his right arm down. When he saw the arrow, he fell back with a groan. "Penn," he whispered, kicking his friend's foot. "Wake up! Get up! I've been shot!" Another kick, and Penn bolted upright. His curly blonde hair was full of straw. Sleepily, he bent over Jimmy, who was still moaning. His eyes strained in the darkness to see the wound. But when Penn touched the arrow, he realized it had only pierced the wide sleeves of Jimmy's shirt. It had plunged into the straw, missing his arm by inches. Seeing an opportunity to play a trick, Penn shook his head, pretending to be sad. "They got you good this time, Jimmy. Mr. Tagg's gonna have to amputate. I'll fetch his hacksaw." "Wait, don't leave me!" cried Jimmy, but when he heard Penn snort with laughter, he took a better look at his arm. Secretly, he hoped there would be blood or some kind of wound, even a scratch would do. But the only damage was that his sleeve tore when he yanked out the arrow. He gave Penn a playful shove. "Quit it! We could have both been You should have seen your face, Jim. You should have seen it. Like this!" Penn raised his eyebrows in mock horror, again collapsing in laughter. Jimmy was embarrassed. He was also a little disappointed. Their haystack wasn't riddled with arrows to prove they'd almost been killed. It would have made a splendid story to scare Lily and Zimmerman. The gray dawn was cold. Jimmy settled deeper into the straw where it was warm. He studied the arrow. The shaft was with smooth cherry wood about 18 inches long. The tip was metal, not stone. This meant the tribe had been trading with white men for some time. The feathers on the end were bluish, from the wings of a mountain bluebird. Jimmy felt a tingle of recognition. These past months on the desert, he had not seen one mountain bluebird, but he had seen them years ago, further north, in the land of the Shoshone and the Bannocks. Jimmy looked closer. In the growing light, he could see markings below the feathers. Slowly, he rolled the arrow between his fingers. There were tiny scratches in the shape of Nampa, a moccasin. A wild joy rose inside Jimmy. He jumped to his feet and turned toward the cottonwoods that surrounded the oasis. In the shadows, he thought he saw horsemen watching. Jimmy raised the arrow over his head. In response, a cry came from the trees, a cry of a bluebird taking flight. Jimmy's eyes filled. Nampa had found him. He was in the woods, and he wanted Jimmy to follow. And that is the end of chapter 18.